What's up, everybody? Welcome to Late Night with St. James. We're going to do a little current events. Not going to be before you too long. One second. Apologize for the delay. I'm back. I'm back. So, not going to be before you too long, but um, wanted to go over a couple current events that took place this week. Obviously, a Super Bowl week, so everybody's all worked up and hyped up about the Super Bowl, Eagles and Chiefs. Um, you know, we'll see what happens, but it should be a good game. Um, Eagles, great team. Chiefs, great team as well, led by a great coach. I have a background in sports and entertainment, specifically with the NFL. So anytime you're talking about the Super Bowl, it's going to be near and dear to my heart. I don't care how long I live, it'll always be something that brings back a lot of memories. Um, I can talk for days about experiences and stories and people that I worked with, people that I met, and so on and so forth. So, um, you know, but that said, I'm actually glad I'm not there because it's a lot of work, and you know, I don't miss it. So we'll see what happens. I'll be watching the game. Of course, I'll be watching it from a different lens. Be watching to see what goes on behind the scenes, how the music artists perform. The flyover is always a big highlight. People in the building, celebrities, etc. So more of the lifestyle component. So we'll see what happens with that. By the way, I'm sipping on a little 12-year-old Singleton Scotch single malt, which is very good. Just to give you a little backdrop as to my background. You know what I mean? So your boy was in the building, and he was there. As I always say, I was there. So yeah, I'm not just a fan. I'm someone who's actually been in the business at a very high level. So, but with that being said, we'll see what happens, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, at some point in some manner next week. So, just getting into a couple things that took place this week. A couple trades in the NBA. Kyrie Irving, the disaster that he is, gets traded to the Dallas Mavericks. And then in the same week, it's actually, I think the next day, Kevin Durant, 2 days at the most, gets traded to the Phoenix Suns. So you imagine in the span of 1 week, the Nets lost Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. I shouldn't say lost; they traded him. But you talk about a disaster of an experiment with the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, from the beginning to the very end, it was just an absolute and utter disaster. And there's a lot of reasons for it, but damn, you talk about something hurting player empowerment. The Brooklyn Nets are a classic example of what happens when you trust the wrong people. So, oh man, there's going to be a lot of case studies done with this team, starting from ownership to the general manager to obviously Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. I mean, just an absolute disaster from top to bottom, from beginning to end, no matter what way you want to slice it. Stephen A. and Jay Williams got into a back and forth on air, which was entertaining, pathetic, and sad all at the same time. I tend to side with Stephen A. In regards to the whole Kyrie Irving situation. There's no excuse. All you got to do is listen to his quotes after he got traded to the Dallas Mavericks, and just some of the things he said. It just shows that he hasn't gotten it, and he's not going to get it most likely. So Kevin Durant is actually in a good spot. Phoenix is a great team already, and to get him along with Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, coached by Monty Williams, general manager James Jones, an absolutely phenomenal organization, and clearly the favorites to win I'm about to say the Super Bowl. Clearly the favorites to win the NBA title. So we'll see what happens with that. But that was a big story. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant both leaving the Brooklyn Nets again. And I think back to all the people who said, well, the Brooklyn Nets are the team of New York. I mean, come on. That's just absolutely ridiculous. And it always will be. It's a Knicks town. Always will be a Knicks town. All right? Remember that. Also, let's get into this whole music business news, which is QC, quality control. Now, there's these two guys, P. I don't know his full name, P. He goes by P. And this other guy, Coach. Prominent executives, owners of QC, home of the Migos, rest in peace, Takeoff, home of some group called the City Girls, which I assume is popular. I don't listen to them. Also, Lil Baby, amongst others. So this is one of the juggernauts as far as music labels currently going, particularly in Atlanta. Definitely a powerhouse, and they actually sold this week to, I don't want to mispronounce the name, I think it's Hybe or Hybe, but it's owned by Scooter Braun. If you don't know who Scooter Braun is the gentleman who discovered Justin Bieber. Huge music executive, very successful, and, you know, I might need to take a sip of this. Now, we're in Black History Month right now, right? And the first thing people do, and I hate to go here, but, you know, we talk about all these marches and parades and all these breakfasts and all these ceremonial kind of symbolic gestures that go on during Black History Month. And I've been saying this for a long time. And this is a classic example. The number one thing that we need in the Black community is ownership. We do not own enough businesses, enough types of businesses. All right. Now, there's certain genres that we dominate, but there's other genres that we need to enter and dominate. And so it's very disappointing when you see a music label like QC, Quality Control, owned by two brothers. All right. Very successful, built from the ground up. And then, no less, during Black History Month, we sell this to a entity that is not owned by Black people. All right. And this is the issue we have: ownership. Now, I understand the dollar amount, $300 million, and I didn't even get into all the specifics. I haven't had time this week to really dig deep into it. I don't need to really do that anyway, because the bottom line is a music label that was owned by two brothers was sold to an entity that's not owned by brothers, right? Now, you might say, well, what's wrong with selling it to Scooter Braun? What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. But it's also emblematic and a metaphor. It's symbolic of what the issue that I've been saying. How many labels right now are owned by Black people in music? When you have all of these music artists who are dominating the charts, dominating the award shows, dominating the radio stations, dominating streaming, yet the people who owned the station is not someone of color. Here we have two guys who do have a label that's owned by two brothers, and we end up selling it. It just, well, you say, well, what are you supposed to do? That's a lot of money. I know it's a lot of money. I'm making a point. If it's not this, it's something else. Every time you look up, something is built up and then given away. Why would someone pay $300 million for something that they don't believe can be worth even more at the end of the day if you just have a little patience? But we don't understand this. Where are the, and I'm talking a little music label talk now, but where are the black owned Arista Records, Columbia Records, Warner Music Group, all right, Universal? Where are these conglomerates that are owned by people of color? And how can we ever get there if every time we look around, when we build something up, it's sold? We build something up and it's bought. We build something up and it's snatched right out of us. I just, I'm happy for them from a financial standpoint. And as a business, from a business perspective, I get the whole, it's a lot of money. I get it. But it just reminds me of my time speaking of the first point we made, which is talking about the NFL and sports. I remember when I was with the Philadelphia Eagles and I was in PR. And I'm not going to say the names of the players, but essentially it was at that point that I started to understand the business from a deeper level where you have guys who, let's say, they come in on their rookie deal, they perform pretty well, may make a Pro Bowl, maybe they're borderline Pro Bowl players, and let's say they have a 3-year rookie contract, right? Now they're in year 2. Now they're looking ahead at free agency and saying, well, if I have another year like this, I can cash in and get a long-term contract. I'm just going to make up numbers. Let's say they're about to finish their rookie deal. They have one more year left, and if they perform well and they stay healthy, they're going to be presented with an offer of 4 years, $60 million, $30 million guaranteed. What the teams would do is go to them and say, you know what? Let's try to renegotiate with you and lock you up ahead of the time when your contract expires. And we're going to lock you up right now, early, 4 years, $24 million with 18 guaranteed, right? I'm just using numbers. I'm not even, these are not real numbers. I'm just playing around with numbers, but you can see the difference of, let's see, you can either wait another year, assuming you're staying healthy, assuming you're staying, playing at the same level. If you stay healthy, you play at the same level, and you're patient, you're going to get a 4-year, $60 million contract with $30 million guaranteed. Or, this is where it gets a little tricky for some of them because you might get hurt. What if you get hurt? What if all these things start seeping into your psyche? And now all of a sudden you're presented with an offer about a year to a year and a half ahead of time. And they say, well, or you can sign right now, lock yourself up, financial security, 4 years, $24 million, 18 guaranteed. Now, a lot of people would actually take that deal, and it is still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. However, if you think about it, over the course of your career, if you keep doing that, re-upping earlier than you need to so that you can get security, how much money do you leave on the table by doing that? So you look at the situation with QC. It's like, I get it. It's a lot of money. $300 million is a lot of freaking money. But think about how long, or think about how much money is being left on the table at the end of the day. Because why would Scooter Braun pay $300 million for something that he feels is only going to make him? My point is, he obviously sees an upside. He obviously knows or has a strong feeling and inclination that this is actually going to be worth maybe $600 million, $1 billion. So I'm going to pay these guys $300 million, see if they bite. They did. And I'm going to have ownership of QC, the Migos, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm actually going to make out better in the long term because I own it. Same thing with real estate. I came from a real estate background prior to this, commercial and residential. I can flip it, make a quick couple of dollars. I can hold it, and over the course of time, I'm going to make exorbitantly more if I actually just hold on to the property as an investment, right? Do I want do I want the money up front now, or do I want to be patient and ride this thing out and actually end up making more money in the long term? This is the kind of stuff that I feel like is tripping our community up, especially when it comes to music labels and on and on and on. It's just we're selling everything for the quick dollar. And then we look back and we don't see a lot of ownership outside of a couple of different businesses when it comes to music labels, sports agencies, on and on and on, liquor companies. It's always that we build something up, we make it hot, and then next thing you know, phew, it's gone. It's a shame. It really is a shame. I mean, you look up and next thing you know, we don't own anything. Because the minute something gets hot, somebody comes with a check, boom, gone. QC is no longer. Why? We took the money. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know what else to say because we've talked I'm talking about more of my private life. It's almost like people just don't get it, and we're doing this during Black History Month, a month where we typically see in the schools and the communities and the churches, etc., regurgitating the same narrative that we've been regurgitating time after time after time after time after time. It's sad. It's just, it's really, really sad. But, oh man, we got to keep going. We got to keep fighting. We have to keep trying to educate and build. And I'm not saying you never sell. I'm just saying this was something else because you got two guys who have built something very, very special, very successful, and then out of nowhere it's like, oh yeah, we sold QC. I mean, and if you're a little baby, if you're a little baby, if you're a little baby, the City Girls, who were the Migos. I mean, how do you feel about that when you start off with Coach and P, and now all of a sudden sold to a conglomerate or even a mini conglomerate? It's just, I don't know. So that's obviously a huge story in the news outside of the Super Bowl. We have QC being sold. We have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving both being traded. Um, a lot going on. So, like I said, I'm not going to be before you too long. Just stopping in real quick, talk about some current events. I'd love to hear what you think. Please leave a comment. Let me know if I'm tripping. Let me know if I'm overthinking it. I don't think. Well, I don't think I am. I know I'm not. If anything, someone's underthinking it because you look around. All you got to look around and say, well, okay, well, prove me wrong. Name me a black music label that is extremely successful, that is continuously owned by people of color. And maybe you can name one or two. The large, vast majority of these labels are not owned by us, yet we dominate the charts. That's all I need to say. So, anyway, that's that. It is what it is. We'll continue pushing. We'll continue fighting. We'll watch the Super Bowl this week. We'll touch base next week and get you wrapped up about that. Looking ahead to spring training with baseball, NBA playoffs upcoming. With all the trades that are taking place, it'd be interesting to see how everything plays out. But do me a favor, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this whole Kyrie Irving being traded, Kevin Durant being traded, the Brooklyn Nets situation. The QC selling to Scooter Braun's company. I mean, it's a lot going on. I'd love to hear from you. As always, thank you for joining. Leave a comment if you will. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button. And until next time, we will talk to you soon. Take care. Peace.